But it has been uploaded. It has uploaded automatically. It's there in the back end of server. Wait now, you want clarification and you're arguing. You want clarification and you're arguing. What are you arguing for? What are you arguing for? You want clarification. If you are not convinced with the clarification, go to court.
My people, this one strong pass me. Make sure say una share this video and make una see wetin Nigerian senators dey do inside Senate House, where dem dey debate over this electoral transmission of result from polling unit to Inec portal. Make una see how dem dey take dey disgrace themselves in the process of trying to interpret the law. Make una see say this our senators na yeye people o. Make una watch how dem dey take dey disgrace themselves, dey challenge themselves as if to say they wan fight inside Senate House. Share this video and see wetin your senators dey do. Your senators, watch wetin dem dey talk inside Senate House. These people oh sorry.
Elections of this nature will normally have the results that sometimes are very clear, sometimes not as clear, sometimes not clear at all. We are very optimistic and hopeful that the votes of our citizens must count. The votes must count. Inec in all the senatorial districts, federal constituencies, and across the country in various states must ensure that the votes of Nigerians count. People trooped out under sometimes extreme conditions to cast their votes. Those votes must count. Nigerians must be the sole determinants of who leads them, who represents them. With this very brief remark, I want to congratulate our colleagues who have won their elections. But I want to also say that for our colleagues who are not able to win in the way that we had hoped, this is not the end of the road for anyone. We have still so much roles to play in the running of our country. We have amassed so much experience here that any government would like to have our experience put into use, whether it is at this level or at the state level. But at this level is where our experience is largely needed. So we congratulate all of us because we have something that this country will always need.
A federal lawmaker also draws the attention of the Senate to the controversies raised from the elections. The floor then opens for a debate.
The provision on the transfer of result from PU is for the polling officers to snap the result announced at the PU and transfer same to Inec server upon availability of network, but not transmission in real time. This is the provision of the Electoral Act which we passed. That the Electoral Act and Inec guideline provide for the collation of results and final announcement to be done by the chief returning officers as far as the presidential election. That the Electoral Act provides for any person that is dissatisfied with the announced result to seek redress in the court and not to engage in any other unlawful action. This Senate is concerned with the various comments and action by individuals on the ongoing process of collation and announcement of presidential election. The Senate is worried of the potential effect of such comments and action to the peace, welfare, and progress of this country. The Senate is therefore urged to resolve to urge all political actors, leaders, and all Nigerians to remain calm, law-abiding, and allow the process of collation and announcement of the result of the presidential election held on 25th day of February 2023. that Senate should urge Inec to conduct its responsibility of collation and announcement of the presidential election in line with the guidelines for the conduct of the election.
There is no doubt that as the upper chamber, we need to also have a voice in whatever is happening within the country. However, this process is still an ongoing process. It is on, it has not ended. And there is no serious crisis other than to ask the INEC to follow its own guidelines and the Electoral Act. Simple. There is no reason for us to play to the gallery or to pretend that we are holier than others. We should not ignite violence.
No, I don't think there's anybody who suggested.
Is for
I
us
think you are on
to
the right
just
track.
round it up.
Nobody is
and
going to
ask everybody to maintain peace and order while we go through this process and finish it properly.
Mr. President, most of us here, apart from a few of us who didn't contest elections, cannot sit in judgment in what is happening in Nigeria today. And we cannot interpret the law because we are not the judiciary. Mr. President, like you rightly pointed out, if we have to say anything at all, we should just appeal to Nigerians for calm while the proper thing is done. And INEC has to do the proper thing. Nobody can come here and tell us that the BVAS machine was not supposed to transmit results. It was supposed to transmit results direct, supported with a photograph of the result. And there is no way you can collate results without having your BVAS total in your server. In every collation point in Nigeria, there is a technology person that is stationed in the collation center whose responsibility is to make sure that the BVAS numbers tally with the result numbers. And so if INEC sits down here and is reporting results without tallying it with the numbers in the VS, it's wrong.
As a parliament and the upper parliament in this National Assembly, it is our duty to stabilize the polity by the pronouncements we make in the parliament, to calm the nerves, the frayed nerves of people that are agitated one way or the other as a result of the last election that just happened on 25th February. We are not here to make incendiary remarks here that will cause any division. We are here to appeal to our people to follow the law. And we're asking all the agencies of government that are also involved in this electioneering to also ensure that they follow strictly sensu or what the law stipulates, both the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, both the Electoral Act of 2022 amended, and the law. That's all we are saying here, so that the elections at the end of the day will come out of it. Anyway, it must come, once you go for election, it must go either one way or the other. And anywhere it goes that it doesn't, we have opportunity to go to law courts, the tribunal, to canvass and ensure that we right the wrongs.
There are just three issues on this. One, accreditation and verification to be done by the BVAS. And in that case, it's real time. How is it real time? When you accredit, every time there is, maybe after getting like 20, 30 names, it's sent back to the back-end server. That is done clearly, which is completely different from where an election result, we are not voting electronically for that real-time effect of transfer to happen or transmission to happen. Transmission can only happen in the case of results after it has been published on the BVAS. How is it published? Like you having your phone and taking a picture and then send. So it's not real time. It's not real time. It's publishing. It's publishing. But it has been uploaded. It has uploaded automatically. It's there in the back end of server. Wait now, you want clarification and you're arguing. You want clarification and you're arguing. What are you arguing for? What are you arguing for? You want clarification. If you are not convinced with the clarification, go to court. Your Excellency.
Please, Senator Ademi, you just walked in. Please.
Your Excellency.
Listen to what is happening.
Your Excellency, we know that we are not in court to interpret what we have passed as a law. We have already passed that as a law. We are not a court to interpret. But INEC has the responsibility to give out a guideline. And they have not breached anything in the guideline. What I'm saying is that it's a simple process. And that process, after publishing, they send it to back-end servers. And when it is at the back-end servers of the INEC, it is at that point that INEC can decide now to publish it and put it on the IREP or not. And if they don't put it on the IREP, from what we have read so far, INEC have been attacked 160 times. 160 times. And nobody is making any issue about that.
The Senate should not involve itself in even the call for calm. Time has not come. Please, you should remember, the elections have come, and in fact they have gone. And you know, whatever happens at the collation centers and the social media, we should not, the Senate should not involve itself. Not to talk about asking members, senators, to interpret the law. Our job has been done and finished with. We passed the Electoral Act. You said it yourself. And for goodness sake, if we don't step down this thing, there will be endless controversy on party lines, and God knows what it will generate in the public domain.
Even before the motion is being moved, you can see the controversy. People are interpreting it along party lines. The best way is to step down this act, because let's not lean on INEC in doing their job. Let's not lean on them in any way. Let's just step it down, because on this floor is generating this kind of controversy, imagine what will happen out there when the motion is passed. Even if it's advised, people will misinterpret it.
In its resolution, the Senate urges the Independent National Electoral Commission to abide by the dictates of the law guiding the collation and announcement of results, and appeals to all political actors, electorate and Nigerians to remain calm and law-abiding.
The day's commencement of...
Meanwhile, in the House of Representatives, the Speaker is calling for resistance to those seeking to exploit this moment of tension for their own ends. Expressing his opinion during the resumption of plenary in the lower chamber, the Speaker is optimistic that the country will be at peace in the end.
We will defeat the cynicism of those waiting to see their worst predictions for our country become real. Nigeria will be at peace because we will work through the law and due process to resolve differences, settle disputes, and ensure the peaceful transition of power.